In this segment of our class, we're working on our research paper, which involves rhetoric and argument. And we really have to think about rhetoric. Why does it serve as the core of your college curriculum? And how does it function as the foundation for our democracy? Now, if you watched the presidential debate on Tuesday, you might say, well, not very well. And that's kind of my point, is to actually make us think about rhetoric and if it's working. Some of you are doing topics on dance or art. Some of you surf. And so for the last portion of our class, we'll be thinking about performative art as rhetoric, or if it's rhetoric. And really you should think about purpose. One of the main things that I'm sure you've noticed in our discussions on rhetoric is persuasion, is really at the core of it. So if you do something like surfing, if you do something like dance, is that the purpose of what you do? And are there better ways for us to come to consensus than just arguing? So anyways, this is a short PowerPoint. I'm just going to give some commentary through the PowerPoint so you can listen, or you can look through the PowerPoints. You can slow it down and read more deeply into it. It's up to you. There's no assignment, so this is really just for your benefit. So the word rhetoric originated in the Greek, which for the most part refers to speech acts, such as public speaker, that which is said or spoken, or ero, to say or to speak. So the idea of rhetoric, argument, and consensus that serves at the core of democracy was established in orality and speech in the culture of Greek theater and the arena, which is very different from what we're doing with writing. It's not revised, it's not edited, it's spontaneous, it's responsive. The delivery and the way it sounds matters, and the speaker even would have to react to the crowd and the way his voice is echoing throughout the arena. Some scholars suggest that rhetoric emerged with the sophists when their land was taken by tyrannical leaders in the 5th century BCE. So they taught the sophists how to form an argument in order to get their land back. But Plato criticized the sophists for using trickery or twisting the truth, and that only the elite who are educated in philosophy would be suited to rule. His student, Aristotle, is whom we get the 3 appeals from. So for English 100, you should see ethos as your credibility. Are you credible for talking about the subject? Or is your source credible, and why? Pathos, an appeal to the emotion. How can you appeal to your audience with emotion? Logos is your evidence, or the way the truth is constructed. It's not so much that there's truth and falsehoods, facts, but the way we construct the truth. And kairos, or the opportune moment. Is your argument relevant for the time? Is it trendy, you might say? Now, if you really want to think about rhetoric and use these appeals, I think it's important to look at them in their Greek context, because we can see a different meaning than we're using them in the modern age. Ethos, for example, can mean moral habits or manners. Pathos, passion, affection, or lust. And logos, which can mean word, also has a very spiritual sense. It could also mean reason, gospel, speech itself, And if you're familiar with John 1:1, which explains the incarnation of Jesus, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning." Logos is used for word here because the Bible is written in Greek. This is also a form of rhetoric that we find in the Bible. So just to see how foundational this is to European culture, we can look right here, and we can see also that logos had something spiritual about it. The word logos is exchanged here for Jesus. So for us to say logos is evidence, we are definitely using this in a different context. Now, logos also has a Stoic background. And in this sense, it comes across a little bit like the Force in Star Wars when Obi-Wan says it surrounds us and protects us and binds the galaxy together. So again, a spiritual context to it in a different religion. Kairos also had a spiritual connotation, and whether it be Christianity or Stoicism or other Greek religion, it meant the time when God inspired someone, when God came in and divinely inspired someone. So, in an academic context, we are definitely looking at these terms and these appeals in a different perspective. So, what academia sees rhetoric as sort of more turning into a conversation and a way to develop and write a scholarly argument. But some say, like religion, the purpose of rhetoric is to gain power, persuade towards peace or war. It empowers us to present our views and persuade others to modify their ideas. By changing their ideas, rhetoric leads to action. By influencing action, rhetoric affects society. So here's several quotes that I pulled from textbooks on rhetoric. It's a system of persuasive communication. It uses language effectively to please or persuade. We use it every time we use the words to address an audience. One scholar even says, rhetoric is what makes us human. Rhetoric is a persuasive language act, whether it's accomplished by speech, written text, or images. And examples would be videos, headlines, or even the Declaration of Independence. So you can see that even in this statement we have a contradiction. Is it just a language act? Or is it the digital media, the visual, the art? Or is art something different? So this is what you'll think about later on. But for now, I want you to really think about your scholarly argument and how you'll use rhetoric, how you're going to appeal to your audience, how you're going to construct truth, because that's going to be your original content, is the way you look at your credible sources and construct truth with those things. So anyways, that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this short lecture. Aloha.